Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Igloo Cinema, and in this episode we're going to be reviewing the Silver Linings Playbook. Now, I know it might be a bit late on reviewing this movie, given the fact that it came out a while ago, first in film festivals and in selected theaters and stuff, but I've been meaning to watch this movie, but I just never really got the chance until, today I had some free time and I was like, might as well watch Silver Linings Playbook. And you know what? I thought this movie was incredible. Now, I think what really drives this movie are the two leads, Jennifer Lawrence's Tiffany and Bradley Cooper's Pat, and rightly so, because it's their story, and they're the ones who are the main characters. They're the ones who the story is about. But in a lot of the movies, the main characters usually sometimes don't drive the movie, and it's usually the supporting cast or the story itself. But this movie really, really relies on Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper's performances, and they do fantastic. Jennifer Lawrence plays Tiffany as this really unpredictable character. Like, you don't know what she's gonna do, when she's gonna do it, how she's gonna do it. That scene in the diner where she goes off on a tangent, that was totally kind of unexpected, but on a surface level, you would think she's crazy. You would think she's a really unlikable character because she's always going crazy. She has horrible social skills. But then when she opens up to Bradley's character, opens up to Pat, you really get a feel for who she is. You grow to really like her, and that's the same thing with all these characters. As you watch the movie, you grow to like them, and I think Tiffany is this really interesting character because, like I said, she's very unpredictable, but she also has this really dark past, and you really feel like she's this broken character, and she needs Pat in her life. She needs someone who can really help her, who can really support her, and he does that through that dance, which Tommy didn't really, Tommy, her dead husband, didn't really, support. And I think she really needed Bradley's character as an anchor, and I think Tiffany really grows from that. And, same thing with Bradley Cooper's character. Pat is this really broken character who's really in denial. He wants to get better, and he tells everyone he's better. He doesn't need meds. He's fine. He's going to get back with his wife, Nikki, and everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. But what he doesn't realize is he's not okay. He needs to take meds, and he needs to move on from his wife who cheated on him, who he doesn't, she doesn't deserve him. He's a much better person than that. But he doesn't realize this. He's just stuck in the past. Before, he went to the institution. Before all this crazy stuff. And he's stuck there. And I think Pat needs Tiffany to move on. Throughout the movie, what's so interesting is, like, he's still stuck with Nikki, but he's in denial about loving Tiffany. And throughout the whole movie, you realize this. You see tiny instances where, they connect. And you're like, They need to connect. Why can't Pat see this? Because he's stuck in the past. And I think they're really careful with all these characters because Nikki is barely in the film. And I think that represents the fact that, Pat doesn't realize that she's gone. We realize this and we want Pat to move on, but he doesn't until he finally sees, Nikki at the dance, and he realizes that he doesn't love her anymore. He loves Tiffany instead. And I just think all around, Pat and Tiffany have this great chemistry together. And on the surface level, again, you might think they're really unlikable characters, but honestly, as you watch the movie, you really grow to like them, and you really, really root for them. And that's the same for most of these characters. I mean, I think they're really careful with how they place all the supporting characters. Especially, examples, Chris Tucker, who is, known as this really annoying kind of actor who tries to be funny way too much, and he's on screen way too much, and he's too over the top, too crazy. And I think they purposely put him in specific places throughout the movie, and they don't oversaturate him, and they don't put him in too many scenes that will eventually make his character extremely annoying and extremely unlikable. And in this case, when he's funny because he's barely in the movie, and when he's here, he's good, he's likable, he's funny. And that's the same thing, like I said, with Nikki's character. She's not in the movie a lot, and that represents the fact that Bradley doesn't realize that she's gone from his life. And I just think all these characters do fit together so well, and and the story just complements these characters so well. Let's talk about the story. I think the story is really, initially, on surface level, the story is really dark and it's really, depressing. But they don't go over the top of that. They don't make the movie so depressing that it's like unwatchable. There are a lot of funny moments in this movie. There are a lot of enjoyable moments, and you're gonna laugh out loud. It's a really heartwarming movie about these two characters who just have all these problems and they need each other. And the story just goes so well. And I think the pacing is just perfect. Like I said again, it was just so. It gravitated me. Like, I completely forgot that I was even in the theater. I forgot that I went to the mall, bought a ticket, came into the theater, sat down, and began to watch it. I was completely zoned out into this world. And I think if you're doing that, you're doing something right. And this movie does exactly that. And I was just so engrossed with this community, this neighborhood, this world that Pat and Tiffany are in. And you just want them to get together so badly. And I think they're very careful with how they interact, because they're gonna get together at the end, but they don't kiss. They don't kiss like till the very end, and they don't do a lot of very close things. Like in a lot of romance movies, they jump the gun with the sex, the embrace and stuff. But in this movie, they get close, but they're very careful with, how close they get, and there's always a space in between them. And I think because of that, throughout the movie, you want them to get together, and they don't, and it's just so close. And then, so that makes the ending much more powerful, much more, when they finally kiss, you're like, yes! They kissed! Oh my god! It's so much more powerful, because throughout the whole movie, they were, getting close, but not that close enough, and then, boom! When they finally get together, when they finally realize their love for each other. And I think that's what romance movies need to do. They need to realize that, you need to be careful with the initial, times when they're together. And you need to be careful with jumping in. Because when they start, when you start making them kiss a lot and stuff, the whole, it just, when they actually do get together or when they actually come to some final conclusion, it doesn't seem that powerful because they've been together for a long time. And these characters don't. They, Pat doesn't realize this. Tiffany wants him to recognize her as her lover or whatever. But it's a slow process, and that makes the ending much more powerful. So yeah. So overall, this movie is incredible. If you have not watched it yet, you need to see this. Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper are amazing, and it's a movie that shouldn't be missed and should be praised. And honestly, I think if I watched this movie back in 2012, it might have replaced Argo as my favorite movie of the year. And, it's debatable, it's arguable, but it was a possibility. And it's so good that after I watched it, I actually went to Chapters and purchased the book. And I'm going to be reading this. And it's going to be, I can't wait. I know it's going to be a great book. So, yeah, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. It is great. There were some, it's not perfect because there were some moments where I was like, with them betting on their dance routine, which I felt like was kind of cliche, but the thing about this movie is they do some cliche things, but they're careful with how much they do it. They do it very subtly, so it doesn't seem corny, doesn't seem lame. It seems realistic, and that's good. That's great. So yeah. Totally watch this movie. So that's it for now. If you like this video, like it. If you like it even more, favorite. Like it even more, share it. Subscribe for updated content. If you watch this movie, give your review down below. Tell me if you agree or disagree with me. Why or why not. Whether you liked it or not. Give your opinion down below. And that's it. I'll see you guys later. So let me preface this before I have not read the novel.